On the show in Wheelspin, we drive the Tata Zest. And in Wheelspin, we also drive the soon-to-be launched Audi A3. And on the track, we bring you the action from the round 1 of the Tyre National Racing Championship. What I have with me today is the latest from Tata Motors. Well, we have been waiting for this for quite a while now, but it's only now that we actually get to see this and drive this. The latest is the Tata Zest. Well, Tata claims it's a completely new car, and looking at this, you have no reason to believe otherwise. But actually, it shares the same platform as that with the Vista, the X1, but then everything else has changed. The lights have changed, the design has changed, the interiors have changed, and one of the biggest change is what lies under the bonnet here. The 1.2-litre petrol engine, which is brand new, the Revotron, which Tata has developed in-house along with its partners, and this is meant to power not only this car but its next generation of cars. So it's a very, very important engine for Tata here. Well, it's time for me now to close the bonnet, jump in behind the steering wheel and really find out what this engine is all about. The Zest has been designed by Tata Motors to fulfill its ambition of garnering a major chunk of the market share in the small booted car segment. The Zest measures in at just under 4 meters to ensure that it gets the tax benefit, which in turn should help the company to price it competitively. The Zest has been designed and developed in-house by the company along with its many partners. And the effort is a car which looks like it has been designed to please many rather than excite a few. So chances are at first glance you might mistake it for a revamped product. But a more careful look will tell you it's indeed a new car. Tata Motors will launch the Zest with both the diesel and the petrol engine options. While the diesel will remain the same, the trusted 1.3-litre multi-jet from Fiat is the petrol engine, which is the new one, and this is called the Revotron series. The word Revotron comes from the English word revolution and the French word tron. Tough job this, balancing a revolution, but that's what Tata Motors has tried to do. And now it's time for me to fire the engine and see how she really goes. When you fire this engine, the first thing that you realize is that it's quiet. That's exactly what Tata guys have been telling me, and it really surprises me to find out that they have been correct. Even if you rev this car hard, you don't hear much of the sound coming into the cabin. And that's really good. The company has done a lot of work in terms of reducing the noise and vibration levels, and it clearly shows. Hold the steering wheel and you can't really make out the engine is running. There is hardly any vibration. Touch the gear lever, it's pretty much the same thing. You have to actually look at the tachometer to make out that the engine is running, except for a faint hum, which is quite nice. Okay, let's start moving and see what the engine actually does. Churns out 140 Newton meters of torque and 90 brake horsepower, which is pretty good for a car like this. But what impresses me about this car is the level of refinement of the engine. This is easily one of the best engines that have come out from the Tata stable, and it easily is on par with most of the petrol engines available in the Indian market today. This engine here is mated to a 5-speed manual transmission, no automatic for the petrol variant here. And this gearbox has also been developed in-house by Tata Motors, and this works quite well. The throws are short and it slots in well. The Zest is a practical car all around and made for everyday use. And the high ground clearance is a case in point. 161 millimeters of ground clearance makes it a car which, even in the case of an unplanned off-roading on our well-paved roads, doesn't really rattle it. Instead, the 15-inch wheels, which on even road has added to the stability, now gives it a higher ground clearance to make sure the underside comes out without a scratch. And that's a big plus for use even when the weather is not all that sunny. What really impresses me is that this car gets 3 driving modes, which you don't get in a car in this class. The 3 driving modes are City, which optimizes the fuel efficiency, and then you get a Sport mode for fast, aggressive driving, and then you get the normal Eco mode. If you spend time behind the steering wheel of this Zest, you will soon realize that this is quite an easy car to drive. This new steering wheel not only looks good and feels good, but it's also very light and easy to maneuver in city traffic. And that's what this car really scores on, drivability. It's nothing like the earlier Tata cars that you might have driven. This is refined, this is smooth, and this is easy to maneuver. The car is designed more for ride comfort than for great handling, and which is exactly what this is. This is not really a sharp handler, but at the same time it's not going to let you down if you throw it around a fast corner. Obviously the speeds you will have is not very high, so it handles it quite competently. It rides on 15-inch wheels, which gives it additional stability. Well, that's the good news I have been giving you. What I really haven't told you is that this engine is also turbo lag, which means power delivery is not very linear until you don't get up to about 2000 RPM. And again, this means that if you are caught up in city traffic, there will be a lot of gear shifting that you will have to get into. Ditto for a quick overtaking maneuver too. But other than that, this engine is quite smooth, it's refined, and hopefully it will be quite fuel efficient too. Tata Motors so far hasn't shared the fuel economy figures. They will wait till the time of the launch to tell us. But I think in a car like this, you should easily get over 20 kilometers to a litre, according to ARI figures. Overall, this car feels quite nice to drive, and I'm impressed by the drivability of this car. Not bad, especially as this is a new engine which is going to power many more Tata cars. It's inside the Zest that the changes are numerous and very obvious. Once you step into the car, you are greeted by a lively fascia which is two-tone, beige and black, and a center console which houses the display, and this is this display which Tata calls the Connect Next, which gives you a lot of options in terms of connectivity. It gives you voice dialing, and all you have to do is ask this machine to call the number for you or send the SMS or even play your favorite music. And all these features really add to this car. The Zest is a car which has been made with the idea of packing in as many features as well and giving the user a sense of value and an experience of a more expensive car. And this is the biggest strength for this Zest. And even the design inside is pleasing, and there is plenty of space for 5 adults. And the real improvement is that the build quality has improved significantly as compared to the existing Tata cars. With the Zest here, Tata Motors has certainly scored a few points and moved up the ladder. It's a car which is well sorted out, it's very acceptable in terms of build quality, in terms of features here, it is quite loaded, and the engine is quite drivable in spite of the initial turbo lag. But in terms of fuel efficiency, it should be good, and if that's what happens, then it will find many buyers who are looking for economy and a car loaded with features. What Tata Motors now needs to do is to move people away from the mindset that Tata only makes vehicles which are good for commercial use. And of course, price this Zest right. And if they can do that, then I'm sure there will be a lot of Zests which are parked in individual driveways. The Zest will be launched around September this year, and with that, Tata Motors would have come a full circle. From making a small affordable car to an affordable sedan which packs in all the necessary features. It also drives on an engine which is produced in-house. And this Zest should be the solution to a mass success that Tata Motors has been looking forward to, provided of course that it prices the car right.
German luxury car maker Audi are famous in the market for making cars that are fast, comfortable, luxurious and big. Well, they've just given us the keys to something that they're calling the next big Audi. And the thing is, it's not really that big. In terms of luxury car sales, Audi is the #1 player in India with sales of over 10,000 units last year. And obviously, they want to consolidate the position and add to the numbers. So what better than a compact sedan to do the trick? globally, Audi gets a significant chunk of their sales from the A3, and that's mighty interesting. So as you can see by the exterior dimensions, the car is really not that big. But where it is big is the market segment that it aspires to. This is going to be the cheapest Audi that is available in the market very soon. The A3 started life as a compact hatchback, but what we're going to get in India is a full-blown sedan. The A3 measures to 4,456mm with a wheelbase of 2,637mm, but it is the attractive styling of the A3 which makes it a proposition to consider more than the space that it offers. And even in terms of luxury, it measures up to its siblings and other luxury cars in the market. So, if you're looking for a compact sedan which is high on drivability and features, then this just might be the right car for you. Now we know that this is a very important car for Audi, and the minute you step inside, you expect to be pampered with luxury. If you look around, there's not too many buttons. You feel that you've been shortchanged a bit. But worry not, everything that you possibly need is in here. But where's the screen? Aha! Press this button and you see the MMI screen pops up right here. And the first thing that you notice that you've even got a navigation system in this. Now let's check out the other goodies that are here. You go into the menu, you've got navigation, you've got Bluetooth, you've got settings for the car, you've got your media. It's also got a 20 GB built-in memory where you can store all your music, and that's called the jukebox, so you can navigate very nicely through your music library over there. You've also got provision for 2 SD cards that you can also insert, radio settings, and of course the settings for the music system. Now let's have a listen to the music system. How does it actually sound? Sounds really good, and that's because this has got 10 speakers including a subwoofer and a 6-channel amplifier. Sure to please the audiophiles, it's definitely pleased me. Now if you look at the other goodies that we've got in here, we've got a dual zone climate control system, you've got traction control, you've got a multi-function 4-spoke steering wheel, you've even got a panoramic sunroof, something that's not there even in the Audi A6. Now, in spite of its Spartan interiors, there are some nice touches around to make you feel kind of special, especially if you look at these AC vents over here. They're shaped like turbines. They've also got these nice aluminium knobs around it, and what they actually are is controls, so switching on and off the AC vents. The seats themselves, well, they're also leather. You've got a little more storage space in here, nice storage spaces in the doors. All the controls that you need are actually within easy reach. At the front, it's actually also quite comfortable. The seats have got lumbar support, they're electrically adjustable. Sadly, they don't have any kind of a memory function. Now, the space at the back is something that most people would be concerned about when buying a luxury brand such as an Audi. This is the compact luxury sedan, so while at the front it's nice and generous, we expect things at the back to be a little bit tight. This car is smaller than the A4. Let's see how comfortable it is round at the back. Okay, getting in is not that much of a problem, but once you're inside, you do feel a little tight, especially tall people. Well, you will find the headroom is a little lacking because although from the outside the car looks really good, it's got a nice sporty character, and hence that sporty character translates into a sloping roofline, which doesn't really leave you too much headroom. Now, if you talk about the space, well, the knee space is alright. I would have preferred a little bit more under thigh support, but hey, look on the bright side. I get an armrest to keep me comfortable. I'm sure this has got cup holders, a little bit of storage space, and of course, we've even got AC vents over here to keep us cool at the back. That's not bad. 450 liters of boot space. It's quite wide, it's quite high, and as you can see, you really don't need much more than this. Now the Audi A3 is going to be available in two engine variants, a petrol and a diesel. The petrol one is going to be a 1.8 litre engine which puts out about 180 brake horsepower, and then of course there's this, the 2 litre diesel. Now this engine puts out about 143 brake horsepower and about 320 Newton meters of torque. But the torque comes in relatively early at about 1750 RPM, and so the minute you push the accelerator, the car just surges forward. Now this is a kind of performance that we really appreciate in a car as small as this. The noise, vibration and harshness levels are so much under control that you could easily be forgiven for thinking that you're driving a petrol car. The 6-speed gearbox in this particular car, well, it is the S-tronic. You can put it in the sport mode and you can manually adjust the gears through the gear stick over here. But for me, I think even the auto mode works really well. Everything feels like a luxury car should. Hey, it is smaller in size, there's no doubt about it. But for me, I like this compactness. I like this tight kind of a feeling. Especially the way the chassis responds when you throw it into bends. It just inspires so much confidence. The only thing that's missing in this particular car is a nice throaty grunt of the exhaust. That really would have been the icing on the cake because hey, the performance is there. You really don't need too much in the city. Out on the highways also, adequate performance. I need that exhaust sound to just add to the aural scintillation of the A3. After a brief encounter with the A3, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed. Because the thing is, I am truly impressed. This car ticks all the right boxes. It's got the look, it's pretty comfortable up front, at the back it's a tight space, slight compromise, because what you get, and at the price that I think you're going to be getting it at, makes this a truly desirable product.
Last week, we brought you the action from the Curry Speedway in JK Round 1 of Championship, and we pick up the action right here. The winners will like to maintain their position, while the people just behind them will like to catch up. So we are in for an exciting afternoon of racing. Compact LGB cars provided some exciting action as the drivers and the cars were evenly matched, and the eventual winner is the one who is able to maintain his pace and steady lines. The 2.2-kilometer long Curry Speedway is a perfect place for these 22 drivers to learn the tricks of racing as they weave in and out of the many corners and the chicanes. These cars are powered by a 1.3-litre engine coming from Maruti. Right from the word go, the competition was intense, but again it was the more experienced Diljit in car number 7 who took an early lead and eventually consolidated it to take the checkered as the winner. He was followed by Sudarshan Rao in second place and the talented Vishnu Prasad in third place. The race comprised of the Volkswagen Polo, which are almost like the regular Polos you see on the road, except that they comply with all the mandatory safety requirements of a race car. The cars are identical, and it is the experience and car control of the drivers which are the only things that helps a driver to finish on the podium. The action was fast and intense, but it was the flawless driving of Bonnie Thomas that put him in the lead. But the incidents-filled race had to be red flagged at one point, and the restart was a perfect moment for the order to change behind the leader Bonnie Thomas. Young Ishan, who was driving a perfect race, fell behind, and it was the more experienced Angad Singh Matharu who gained a few positions and moved into the second place. Bonnie Thomas, however, continued to maintain his pace and took the lead and led till the end of the race. He was followed by Angad Singh Matharu in second place and Anandit Reddy in third place.
Polo Cup, I think, is a very good platform for guys who want to get into racing, as you know, it is one racing championship which not only lets you drive for, say, fairly less speed, but at the same time it teaches you a lot. We have driver coaches and we have experienced racing drivers, Indian racing drivers who race abroad. We have all these guys on hand to help us out. So there's a lot of learning that we get.
Well, we have had a rather exciting day at the track here, and now it's time to wind up. But we are going to end up with a big bang, as lined up behind me are the BMW Formula cars, the fastest cars in the championship, and this is going to be the last race in the first round of the JK Tyre Championship here, and it seems like things are really going to hot up before it all ends for the day and for the first round. The Formula BMW is one class which really gets the excitement going with its sheer pace. The 1.2-litre BMW engine spits out enough firepower to propel the cars to speeds of over 200 km per hour on the straights. Although the grid size is the smallest, with only 12 cars lining up on the starting grid, but competition is intense. The drivers are relatively experienced and know the track quite well. Consequently, they go flat out. But it is the experience of drivers like Vishnu Prasad which ensured that he not only went on to take an early lead, but as the race progressed, fended off the challenge and increased it too. He was followed by Akhil Ravindra in car number 4 in second place and Krishnaraj Mahadik in car number 7 in third place.